From the Opupco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. We're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online right now and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Let's get to our inbox segment for this week. Email questions from you. We're going to answer them here on video with Greg getting us started. He says, if Perry Jones can play some defense and average more than 10 points a game, it will make Thabo Sefolosha's return to the Thunder lineup non-consequential or inconsequential, depending on how you want to look at it. This is a bad position to be in if you're a well-paid veteran. Barry, what about that?
Well, a couple things. One is Thabo's not all that well paid. He's only making, I think, $3.6 million, so let's not pretend he's breaking the bank. And second, I think Greg is way overstating the defensive potential of Perry Jones. Perry's got some good length and got some promise there on defense. He's shown that he can sort of stay in front of LeBron for a couple of series, but he's not ever going to be the perimeter defender that Thabo Sefolosha has been. If Thabo can't do it anymore, Thunder needs somebody else besides Perry Jones. You don't have 6'11" defensive stoppers, no matter how athletic they are. I don't think that Perry Jones is going to be the end of Thabo Sefolosha's Thunder career.
Yeah, no, I don't either. I mean, in some matchup situations, Perry Jones is the way to go when you're looking for somebody with a little more length and height. But look at the number of guys and the number of positions that Thabo Sefolosha can guard. Now, he's in a contract year, so I understand that there's a lot of wondering about, are they going to be able to re-sign him? Does he want to re-sign? That sort of thing. But when you look at his flexibility and what he's able to do for this team, you like to have a guy like Thabo Sefolosha around. He can guard small guys, point guard type of guys, all the way up to 3s and 4s. So that kind of versatility defensively, it's really hard to find somebody else. There's nobody on this current lineup that has that kind of defensive flexibility. Maybe Caron Butler. We're going to see. We're going to see how good he is defensively. But to this point, Thabo sort of stands alone with that. All right, back to the inbox from Gary. Gary says, it seems to me that the OU women's basketball team has hit a long skid. For some reason, this team seems outclassed no matter who they play. Has Sherry Cole forgotten how to coach?
Well, I can't say whether Sherry's forgotten how to coach or not, but I can tell you this. Their skid goes all the way back to the start of this season. OU was in the Sweet 16 last year. So let's not pretend this is a program in a deep slump. They've been underachieving this year. Picked to win the Big 12. They've slipped to 6th in the conference. Doesn't look like March is going to hold a lot of blessings for the Sooners. But I think the program's okay. It's in solid shape. I think Sherry's just a little bit short of talent. Need better play at point guard. Need more athletic bigs. If you don't have both, you're going to struggle, and that's what's happened to the Sooners this season.
When you mentioned that Sweet 16 run last year, and a lot of people pointed at Sherry Cole and for the great job that she did with that team to get it to that point. So to me, people always want to find, well, what's the reason? What's the reason? Well, sometimes there's a variety of reasons, and has she not maybe done the coaching job that she's done in years past? It's possible. Do they not have as much talent? That seems part of the equation. So I don't think it's any one thing, but I do think that talent is where I see the need to upgrade, Barry. If you look around the league, if you look at Baylor, if you look at West Virginia, now they're surging. If you look at Oklahoma State and where they're taking their program, athleticism, length, speed, those sorts of things are going to be mainstays with those teams. So if you want to compete, you got to have those, I think, those type of players, or at least some. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a long night against some of those teams. All right, back to the inbox. Ed says, someone needs to get in Marcus Smart's ear about flopping. That unnecessary silliness discredits a pretty good player considerably. What about that, Barry?
I agree. I mean, I think he is still flopping. I loved Marcus Smart's game on Monday night against Kansas State, but at one point he acted like he'd been shot out of a cannon. When a Kansas State
or
guy,
shot by a cannon.
Yeah, whichever. I've told the guy sitting next to, the Oscars are over. No reason to do this acting, Marcus. So I think Ed is exactly right. I think it does take away from Marcus Smart's reputation. He's become quite the flopper, and it's exaggerated, and it's theatrical, and it just sort of demeans the game. He needs to stop.
Yeah, I agree with it. And, are there times when you want to try to sell calls? Sure. I mean, I think every player has done that from time to time. But I don't remember this being a part of Marcus Smart's game a year ago. I mean, when he really burst onto the scene and everybody said, wow, what a fantastic player, he wasn't flopping around like this. So I just don't get why this has become part of his game. I mean, it's something in the NBA where he aspires to be that they've really tried to cut back on. They'll fine guys now over it. If he flops like this when he gets to the NBA, Barry, he's going to spend his whole salary on flopping fines, for crying out loud. Cut it out, Marcus. All right, back to the inbox. This one from Jim. Jim says, if Barry Switzer had said he would not have a black quarterback, there would have been a national cry for his head. Jim obviously referring to some comments made by the former Oklahoma coach earlier this week where he said, I would not recruit a white quarterback. What do you think about this, Barry?
Well, Jim is right. If Switzer had said that, there would be a national outcry. The truth of the matter is, Switzer didn't mean it. He's just talking. What he meant was, I'm going to recruit a certain style of quarterback, because we just look at his record. He did recruit white quarterbacks. He played white quarterbacks. Now he also pioneered the use of black quarterbacks, but he was recruiting white quarterbacks. Heck, he recruited Mike Gundy, for crying out loud. I think Switzer, at his point in life, he's to where he really doesn't worry about a filter. He just starts talking. And the truth of the matter is, you have to do two things. One, you have to sort of figure out what he's really saying and not take everything literal on Switzer. So I think if Switzer was coaching today, I think absolutely he would recruit Johnny Manziel, and he would recruit him very hard. And if he got him, he'd put him in the wishbone and run option.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if he was coaching today and he said what he said, he'd have a PR person or a sports information person in his office in about 2.2 seconds, because that's the sort of thing that causes a lot of headaches for PR people. Yeah, I don't think he meant what he said, and I agree with you on that, Barry. But I also agree with what Jim said about the national outcry. There would have been a national outcry. You're absolutely right. So I think that there is something of an interesting point here about just what we accept as being okay, and what we sort of accept as maybe Barry Switzer talking out of his head a little bit. But clearly, he recruited all kinds of quarterbacks. I don't think he recruited black quarterbacks when nobody else would. Why would he not recruit any quarterback that could play for him? It just would be ridiculous. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.